viewers, welcome to another game of Casual Pro Gamer. Today we're doing another noob guide for noobs and we are going to play AMC or Ah Muzen Cab. And we are going to, well, first discuss the items that are good on him. Keep in mind he is a carry, he's ranged and, well, he's pretty much, well, very squishy. Yeah, I would say. So, go with your items as if he's a real carry and, well, not as if he is a real carry. So you should really just go for damage and penetration items. And yeah, you should get your actives as, well, defensive mostly, because you do have enough damage. So Girdle of Inner Power can still come in handy, of course, but it is not really what you normally do. Normally you would go for something like Purification Bead, Aegis Amulet, something like that, maybe the Creeping Curse or Combat Blink. Those kind of things can be used offensively as well as defensively, but they're not really that good. Of course, you can also go for Eye of Providence if you have, well, a slot open, but you only get 2, so yeah, it's there's that. So as a carry, you only get Death Stole as a starter item. All of the others are just not for you. Unless you're jungling for some reason, then Boomba's Mask might actually be good. So item-wise, you go for the heavy damage, heavy penetration items. So Heartseeker, which also gives you extra movement speed, would be really good. Especially if you can stack it up, obviously. Then Tabi and especially the Warrior Tabi are really good. It's really good. The Titan's Bane, of course, for the late game. For your lifesteal item, I do recommend the Virus Gloves. It is really a very heavy damage item, as well as gives you a, well, a high amount of lifesteal, and you're going to get a lot of minions because that is kind of what you do. So the Executioner can help you out really well. So go that if you want to get early penetration going. If there's not a lot of physical armor, physical protection on the enemy team, just completely skip it. You can go for the heavy damage items instead. So you are kind of mana heavy, so you do need a lot of mana. You are kind of a caster slash auto attacker in the late game. In the early game, you're more of a caster though. So either Jotun's Wrath or my preference goes to Transcendence. Transcendence into, well, the real Transcendence, not this crap. Yeah, you definitely do want that. Because, yeah, you don't want to get 1 stack per minute. You don't need that. You get minions all the time, so might as well, get extra bonuses off of that. Of course, Brawler's Beatstick if you go up against the healers. And then for the rest, Void Blade is kind of a must-have. And Deathbringer is kind of a must-have. Rage, yeah, if you're doing well, you can also build Rage. And you can sell some of the other items. Transcendence, however, is kind of a must-have in the early game. In the late game, yeah, you can still keep it, but if you have to sell an item, it is actually one of the items you can sell, because in the late game, you really rely more on basic attacks than on casting those spells. So yeah, you can actually get rid of the Transcendence and get something like Rage instead. Attack speed, yeah, this is not really what you want early game. In the early game, you want penetration and power. In the late game, however, you might want to go for some of these. So if you're not building lifesteal or enough lifesteal in the early game, then SI comes to mind. It is really good at that. Of course, you already had the Tabi, you had the Warrior Tabi, and then yeah, Executioner once again comes in here. It is good for the late game, but its special, so its passive, is only good in the early game really. It doesn't really do too much in the late game, although it does combine very well with the Titan's Bane. So yeah, if your opponents have a lot of physical resist, then go for Executioner. Kinsblades, also very nice to have, lots of attack speed on that. You basically max out the attack speed with 2 items if you go Kinsblades. And yeah, if you combine Kinsblades with Rage, you're kind of overdoing it, because you also have some attack speed on your Tabi, and you also have some maybe on an Executioner or on that stall. Yeah, all those kind of little bits are then going to be lost. But yeah, you can't really deny Rage as well, as an item. It's just a very good item. You can go for Malice if you don't want that huge attack speed boost, The crit chance is pretty much the same. I think it's a little bit higher if you go Malice with uh, oh come on, with Deathbringer. If you go that combination, so Deathbringer with Malice, I think you actually get a little bit higher damage out of it than if you go Rage with Deathbringer. But yeah, you'll have to try it out. It's not really a big difference though. The thing is, this one is guaranteed a high crit chance, whereas this kind of stacks up and you have to, yeah, you have to get one stack to equal it, but then you do get 5 more physical power here, and you do get more attack speed here, but if the attack speed is useless, you're better off with Malice. So all in all, just try it out and just keep making conscious decisions about what you're doing. So the Virus Gloves, as I said, my personal favorite. Kin's Blades are also very good. Asai is very good, and for the rest, yeah, it's not so good. It's not great, let's just call it that. Penetration then. If you go for Jotun's Wrath to solve your mana problem early game, you already get 15 penetration. You get 15 penetration from your boots, and then you can get 33% penetration from this, as well as an additional 7% per hit for 3 hits. So that's another 21%. And then you can get 25 more from Focus Void Blade. So you can get a lot of penetration on him while building him as his normal build, which is very fragile but does a lot of damage. And crit chance, yeah, you basically have these two items. Deathbringer is a must. You have to get it. And Rage only in the late game if you're doing well and blah blah blah. Here, yeah, you really shouldn't dip into the defensive items at all. Defensive items that are available to you are Void Blade. I guess if you're really if you're in real trouble, you can go for something like Hide of the Nemean Lion, which kind of helps you out with the damage. You can also in the early game go for Breastplate of Valor. It gives you a lot of mana, so it solves your mana problem. It also gives you cooldown reduction, and since you're a caster in the beginning of the game, it is very good. So in the magical department, this becomes way more of a problem. If you're in real trouble, go Bulwark of Hope. Don't mess around with like Shield, it doesn't do anything. But you basically will have to sell Bulwark of Hope later on to get your damage out. Of course, if you're really still doing badly, you might not want to sell it and just go with the reduced damage. For the rest, health, HP 5, not for you at all. And then all of these items are basically not for you either. The Transcendence still comes to mind. As I said, it is a very good item, well, to go for on him because, well, it solves your mana problem with one item which also has physical power, and it gets a lot of physical power because you get the mana converted into physical power on the passive. So yeah, it's pretty simple what you have to build, and yeah, we will now go into the next game basically, and go play him and see how he works in the early game as well as in the late game. So I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time. GG.